Hello, everybody. This is the Dadler Soul Sessions. We are live on the internet. This is the first time that we've done this across our normal Facebook page, our private Facebook group, which is just for dads. And if you are a dad and you'd like to be part of that, where you have some kind of private chats, opportunity to air whatever it is you want to air, then get on there. Just request to join. There's a couple of questions you have to answer, and we'll let you in there. We're also on Twitter and on YouTube as well. It is the Dadler Soul Sessions, so make sure that you stick with us, because it's got quite an evening of entertainment. Alex is here. He's our conflict management expert. He's been at the last few Dadler Soul Sessions, and he's been giving great advice. People always kind of love the advice that he gives and always want to find out a little bit more. He is currently seeing patients at the moment, like he did last month. It worked perfectly. Finished the first bit of the live stream, and then he kind of nipped in just between patients and did his thing, answered some questions, came back again. Also, we're going to be talking to Jack of Menfulness. Menfulness is a group who are based in Yorkshire, and they are doing great work, kind of breaking down that stigma of getting men to talk about mental health and about issues that they have as well. And that's kind of something that we do at Dadler Soul as well. So that's something that we're kind of really into. We wanted to explore that a little bit further. We'll do that a little bit later on. You can ask any questions that you have. We have got the engagement here through the comments on Facebook, or answering us on Twitter or on YouTube as well. Just stick your name in there in the message, because it won't come up on my little console here, and it'd be nice to give you a shout out, unless of course you want to remain anonymous, in which case then don't do that, because that'd be weird. That would kind of give away the anonymity a little bit. So yeah, we've got loads coming up. I just wanted to start off telling you a few things about what we've been up to with Dadler Soul recently. Dan, our leader, the dear leader, he makes us call him dear leader. It's just one of the things he has. So when you sign a contract to do anything with Dadler Soul, you have to call him that. He was mentioned in the 2022 Social Entrepreneur Index, which we're really proud of. Dadler Soul was given a sort of judge's choice section. We've got like a big video about what we do, and a big write-up as well in that. So that was a really nice thing. Thank you to I always feel a bit weird saying this. I mean, you know, I like the French language, but I feel a bit weird calling a normal everyday shop Jojo Maman Bébé, because I mean, you can't really anglicize that. It's difficult. It feels weird to go, I'm going to go to Woolworths, then I've got to go to Blockbuster, and then Jojo Maman Bébé, which I think shows you the last time I went on the high street. They were running a little community grant. We did not win that, unfortunately. It was on their community Facebook group, but it was nice to be mentioned. We were in kind of, I think, one of about 10 that were up for that grant. The winners of that were the Human Milk Foundation, Ukraine Mums United, and the Sunnywood Project as well, which does kind of outdoor projects with people. And, you know, well done to them for getting that. It was really nice to be mentioned, because it's quite mum heavy. There wasn't a lot of representation for dads in that, and I think it's, you know, for them to put us there from Dadler Soul, I think it was really nice for us to kind of be part of that. Also, another thing that we've been doing is our dads only meetups, which happen in Worthing. We have a brand new partner for that, a new location for that. In fact, you don't need me to tell you about that. Let me play you the video of Dan showing people around our brand new venue for our dads only meetups.
Welcome to the new Dadler Soul HQ for our Dadler Soul meetups. Come this way. So this is Mill Buildings for Freedom Works, and it's a lovely, amazing co-working space that we're working in partnership with. So come with me. There's a kitchen where we'll have free teas and coffees, and hopefully for very, very good boys, a few beers maybe, or you're more than welcome to bring your own beers. Then we've got a pool table, which doesn't need money for. we've got all of this sleeping space that we can hang around and have conversations with. We also have a virtual reality headsets. So the idea is you can come along, don't need to bring any money because it's completely free, and meet some new people, have some different conversations, play some games, and just basically unwind. So it's the Dad Soul sessions, which are going to be the third Thursday of every month here, and it's Mill Buildings in Worthing. So sign up, and you don't have to go to the pub anymore because we've got our own youth club. It's great, isn't it?
I did check. I made that video and I had to check that that wasn't just too silly. The stuff, because it was a very serious video that Dan did, very serious looking around there. And I did a load of stupid stuff over the top, but apparently that was fine. During the first session, people were talking about what it's like to be a respite foster carer for children with disabilities, what it's like to have a 2-year-old that's booked in for an MRI and is terrified, how to co-parent in a new blended family, the differences between zombies and pottering around in the allotment as forms of stress relief, how lonely working from home can be, mentoring young lads that don't have positive male role models, how to get rid of middle-aged spread, and pretty much everything in between as well. That's what kind of goes down during our dads only sessions that we do in person in Worthing. If you are in the local area, it's the third Thursday of the month, and it's at the Mill Buildings Freedom Works there. And we've had some kind of lovely sort of interaction with them as well. They were really keen to put it on, and we were really keen to kind of work with them as well. Lee, who's the head of community there, said Freedom Works was created as a community for the community. Our focus is on bringing like-minded people together in an inclusive, collaborative, flexible workspace setting whilst working symbiotically. Oh, that's a good word, isn't it? With the wider community to create good. We're privileged to deliver a wide range of support to our members as a result of great relationships we've built with key partners like Dad Soul, who enable us to have a far greater social impact at a local level. And this is the sort of stuff that went on. So what happens when we have one of these dads only meetups is you come along and you have a chat. If you want, you can chat as much as you want or as little as you want. You can chat about something really personal. You can chat about nothing, the state of the weather or whatever. We're British, that's what we do. You also get free pool, there's free drinks there, and you get to play on our VR headsets as well, which are completely free, which we have just been able to get a hold of thanks to some funding. And so if you want to come along and do that, if you're in the Worthing area or even nearby, because people come from quite a distance around and about to come and take part in that, then please do that. Also, if you're in Worthing, then we have got an event happening on this Saturday. It's our Dads and Kids play date, and we have got a very, very special guest who's going to be leading that. He's called Owen Davey, and these are some of the things that he creates. He is an absolutely amazing talent. He's an illustrator, author, and he's going to be talking about storytelling. So if that's something you've always wanted to be doing, if it's something you've always had an interest in, or even if you've never really thought about it before, it's a chance for you and your kids to come along to Guildcare in Worthing and find out how to unlock those stories that you might have within yourself. Because that's, we've all got a story. They say everyone's got a novel in them. Well, it might not necessarily be a novel, but, it's a great thing to explore with your kids, isn't it? Doing some storytelling, because that's such a part of being a parent. So that's our Dads and Kids play date this Saturday in Worthing. You can also use the breakout rooms. There's a sensory area. There's an outdoor space to use as well if the weather's okay. I don't know whether it is on the South Coast. I'm in Yorkshire, so it's always terrible here. If it was hailing, we'd think that was good outdoor weather that we could go outside for. Also, there's the VR headsets. We're going to be using those. There's craft, there's dress up, there's Lego and all stuff like that as well. If you want to get tickets to that, get onto dadlasoul.com, go to our events page, and you can get your tickets for that. You do need tickets for the Dads Only meetups as well, but they're free, but you just need to book your place as well. So make sure you do that. This is the Dad Soul sessions. This is what we do on the last Thursday of every month. And this is where we kind of talk to interesting people and find out a little bit more about what they're doing and ask them some questions and see if we can find some answers, and always sort of vaguely related to parenting. We've had some amazing guests recently. We've got Simon, who is the he's Man Behaving Dadly. He came on a couple of months ago, and this was the story that he told about how he duped the Sun into printing a fake news story. I mean, they don't need much duping into fake news sometimes, do they? But this is how he did it.
Pretty quickly, I mean, again, my daughter and my wife always corrects me. I can remember she was about 12 months, 18, no, 6, I don't know. She was quite young at the time. I can't remember now. And we went to soft play one day. We stuck her in a cow onesie because it looked quite cute. And I took a photo of her in the cow onesie. And I sometimes take photos of the kids. And I think, what would be a good story to turn this into? And I thought, do you know what? What if she got kicked out of a vegan's birthday party for causing offence? And I just made up all these ridiculous names for the people in the story, like Esmeralda Soybeanton and Tanya Hyde was a little baby's name, all these little red herrings. And again, it got a decent amount of views online. And then it was a Saturday morning, I think it was. And I got an email from someone on the Sun's picture desk saying, "Oh, hi Simon, or hi there. Just wondering if we could, if we've got permission to use this image." It's like, I'm thinking, what the hell do they want it for? Maybe they were going to run all these people being hoodwinked by a thing now. But no, what they actually did was they thought it was serious, and they ran it as a story. They literally cut and pasted massive amounts of it, word for word. And in the end, it was up on their website for about 3 hours before they realised, and it came down again.
That must have been like quite the thrill to have done that, you know,
It
to
was,
not even
again,
intended.
Well, I mean, again, it was very similar to the Katie Hopkins incident as well. The Katie Hopkins incident, I've already mentioned her anyway, but I did a story about the M25 being shut for a week so people could have a jogging race. And she was ranting about London being closed for cyclists for some reason on the Saturday morning LBC show that she had at the time, before she went woo-woo. And with that, she then goes, and do you know what? I've just been past this other story, and the M25 is going to be shut for one whole week. And she was reading my fake article out word for word, basically. And it's just literally one thing after another. And I thought, and about an hour and a half later, she apologised. Said, "Look, sorry, it turns out it's not real."
So that was Simon, who's Man Behaving Dadly. Our guest today is Jack from Menfulness, who we'll be talking to a little bit later on. We also have Alex coming up very soon, who's our conflict management expert. If you have any questions for either of them, just use the little comments bit either on Facebook or on Twitter or on YouTube, wherever you're watching this. Leave your name as well, and then I'll be able to put that question to the people that we're talking to a little bit later on. Thank you to everyone who contributed. I decided this week on our social media that we needed some lightening up. There's some pretty heavy news around at the moment. So there's been some great dad jokes that people have sent in, and I really appreciate that, because I asked for as many as possible, and you know, we're dads, that's what we do, right? So this one was great. Mangoes into a bar. Why are the mangoes in a bar? I want a pint of lager. Nice. Yesterday, a German Shepherd did a shit on my front lawn. He brought his dog round today and it did a shit too, which I very much enjoyed that one. And I went for an interview. They said, "Can you perform under pressure?" I said, "I'm not sure about that, but can have a good crack at Bohemian Rhapsody." There you go. Amazing work. Well done, everyone, for that. Any more of those, stick them in the comments. I'll read them out a little bit later on. We will go and talk to Alex, our conflict management expert, very soon. But first of all, this is a little bit about what Dad sold us.
Give us a wave, Dad. Ooh, lovely.
Yo, deadly soul in full control of 50% of this parenting role.
All right, I'll give him a kiss, but no laughing. Here we go. Were they laughing?
What do I like?
people to talk to.
It was just nice to finally get outdoors and spend time with our kids, because with our everyday work, it's a bit of a struggle to find the time.
Yeah, it's difficult to meet up with other dads and kids, so it's a great experience.
This was our first time coming to Dadlasole. We just moved to Worthing a few weeks ago. So it was really nice to see a new place, meet new people, try out new things.
I get to spend time with you, and we are mixing with lots of other dads, lots of other kids.
It's really nice to have somewhere to come on a Saturday morning to do something a little bit different.
We've just moved to Worthing. It's nice to come and meet other dads, and nice for Zaya to come and meet other kids.
Everyone has the same tired look on their face.
Yeah.
Worn out by parenthood and life.
And if you want to know more about any of the events that we do, anything we do, dadlasole.com is the place to go. Right, Alex should be able to join me now. Alex, are you here?
I am indeed. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, yes. Once again, are you coming to us between patients?
I am indeed, yes. I'm coming to you live from my surgery consulting room, as you can probably see in the background.
Excellent. This is a bit of atmosphere. I like it. It's good. It gives you that air of, not that you don't have an air of authority anyway. Of course you do, Alex, which is why we keep asking you back. But that adds to it even more so.
Thank you very much. The air of authority might fail massively if NHS IT fails, because I'm currently using NHS IT rather than my own.
Oh my goodness.
But I do have mine here as a backup.
Right.
So if all else fails, I can use that.
Now, I did send over some questions earlier. I meant to send them earlier than earlier, but I didn't manage to. Did you get those questions?
I did. I've looked at them for about the last 20 minutes. So that's
I've
had rather a manic day since 8 o'clock this morning, and I'm still going. So yes, I have had a look at them, and I have got some ideas.
We really appreciate it, Alex. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer people's conflict management questions. And if anyone has any more, just stick them in the comments and we'll be able to ask Alex a little bit later on. So the first one was, how do you negotiate with a narcissistic ex who continually breaks her word?
Right. Relationship breakdown, which then becomes, and when children are involved, then develops into a new relationship. So you have the mum, the dad, that did have a relationship that was obviously romantic, is now no longer, is now probably more of a transactional relationship, frequently, to co-parent or somehow manage the parenting of their children. That new dynamic is what is usually the driver, I've found, not through personal experience, I'm honest, I've not had that situation, but through the patients I've dealt with who have, that new dynamic is the crux of it working well or it not working well. Yeah. Now, if one partner, ex-partner, continually breaks their word, usually I assume in reference to, I will have the kids this weekend, and then Friday evening, I'm not having the kids. I'm guessing that's the sort of break the word that we're talking about. Then it depends partially on if there's any legal framework. In other words, is there a divorce settlement that says you will have the children on the second weekend of the month or whatever? Yeah. But if there isn't, and more often than not there isn't, it's just a mutual arrangement, then if somebody is continually breaking their word, it's a question of having to talk to them about the fact of the impact, not on you, because probably their answer will be, I don't care. It's more about the impact on the children. Yeah. And that would be, but again, you have to be careful, because if you put forward that it's all about the children, then you've got to be very careful that you don't start becoming guilty of using the children as a weapon, which is the last thing you want to be accused of doing. So it's a really, really difficult question to answer. I have an opinion. It may not be the right one. It may not be the best one. I don't know. And I'm always, as I said, when we had our face-to-face meets last week, wasn't it? I think we had our face-to-face meet, so a number of you that I spoke to, do challenge me. Do take it up with me if you disagree with me. I'm not saying my word is gospel by any stretch of the imagination. It's purely an idea from some experience I've had. When people break their words or break their promises to do something, then it's a question of, well, plan always in your mind that it's not going to happen, so that you have that option. It's not great, but at least it means you won't end up with the same level of stress. Yeah, and that's probably the important thing. If you reduce your stress, then that will come across in the way that you interact with your ex and also with your children. Yeah, so try to manage the situation by being prepared to do what you're not on paper expecting to do.
Right. Okay. So have a contingency, have something, so you're not suddenly ringing around everyone in your phone book going, can you have them for 10 minutes?
Exactly. Yeah. And it is hard work. I mean, as I say, I personally have, my wife and I are still together. She hasn't divorced me yet. There's always time, I suppose. But what I have come across is that both she and I work full time, very full time, and that in itself is a juggling act. And then suddenly we both work odd hours, out of hours, evenings, weekends, etc., for the nature of our work. And that can sometimes, we can double book ourselves. And then, right, who's looking after the kids? Mercifully now, our kids are older, so they can reasonably fend for themselves. This evening they did. McDonald's and Uber Eats solved a lot of crises.
Yeah, we have, when that happens with us, we've got this one mum in the village who's amazing, who'll always step in for everyone as well. I found out she does it for everyone. I mean, I'm surprised she has any time to do anything, but, hoping she never moves away, because that'd be a disaster.
Yeah, no, she is one of the super mums that can just seem to do that.
Yeah, perfect. And everyone needs one. I'll send a number to people if they need him. Next question is this: a restaurant gave my son food poisoning, but they're not taking responsibility. What can I do about that?
Right. Food poisoning is notoriously difficult to prove. The only way you can definitively usually prove it is by having a sample of the food, sending it off in a timely fashion to a laboratory and having it analysed. And to be honest, by the time people know they've got the food poisoning, they haven't got the food anymore. So
it would be weird to keep it, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
Just in case.
So it is very, very difficult to prove. What you probably need to do is skip the restaurant completely, go straight to your local council's environmental health and inform them, because they're the ones who do those green stickers on the door of how well the food is, 1 to 5, and the dots, that different colour, 5's best, 1's awful. They're the ones who issue that. Now, the reason I say that is because if they gave somebody food poisoning, if it's something that they've done wrong in the kitchen, then it will probably have affected lots of other people. So if everybody who does it goes back to environmental health, they will then go, there's a problem here. Yeah. And we'll speak to the restaurant. If, however, it was not the restaurant's fault, and it might not have been, for example, they get a batch of chicken fillets in, and unbeknownst to them, one of them's contaminated, but they cook all of them, serve them all up as chicken burgers. One person gets ill, not actually their fault. They've done nothing wrong. It's their supplier who's done the problem. But it's so difficult to prove where it is. So it depends what you want them to do. Yeah. They won't want to apologize because that in their mind will admit liability. Yeah. It depends. Are you wanting a refund? Are you wanting just the apology? Are you wanting a, full-page advert in the local newspaper going, we're a terrible restaurant, we're sorry? It's what do you want out of it? And so they won't take responsibility because actually they know you can't prove it. So the best way around it is to say, well, thank you for your non-response or whatever they said. I'm informing environmental health to keep them abreast of it. Don't threaten, just say, I'm informing environmental health. Yeah. That will usually get a response out of them because they know that they're the people who, worst case scenario, revoke their license to operate. Simple as that.
Yeah. That's it. Or give them that 1 star that then they try and peel off the door.
Yes. Yeah.
You can always tell. There was one near us that did. They had a 1 star for a couple of days and then it disappeared, funnily enough. Never been back. Just, yeah. And this one is my brother-in-law is an argumentative drunk. Any tips for diffusing a situation where someone's inebriated? It's difficult to reason with someone who's very drunk, isn't it?
Yes and no.
Right.
And there's a reason why I say yes and no. In a previous part of my medical career, working out on the hard, mean streets of Brighton and Hove, I dealt with drunks an awful lot. I also dealt with a lot of people who were under the influence of drugs of a variety of descriptions: cannabis, crack, ketamine, you name it. You cannot reason with somebody under the influence of drugs. Absolutely.
Have we lost Alex? I think we might have lost Alex. Can anyone else hear Alex? I think he's just paused there. I was fascinated to find out more about that, but I think he's coming back in. Here we go.
Yeah,
Alex, are you
sorry,
back?
I don't know what happened there. That was probably an NHS failure. Sorry.
Yeah.
You cannot, I don't know what point you lost me, but you cannot reason with somebody who's under the influence of drugs, certainly class A, heroin, crack, cocaine, etc. Somebody who's drunk, you can actually reason with to some degree.
Right.
Not as much as you can somebody who's not drunk. Yeah. Now, if somebody is an argumentative drunk, most people, when they get drunk, they exacerbate, reinforces a natural trait within them. I see the same thing in my older patients with dementia. When they get dementia, it accentuates a traditional trait they have. Dopey and quiet and docile, they get even more so. Up in your face, argumentative, they get more so. Drunks are the same. Yeah. If they're naturally argumentative, they will become more argumentative. The trick when you have to deal with a drunk in a social situation is to try very hard not to ever create a bone of contention. And it's swallow your pride. If they turn around and they say, I'm going to use football as an example, Liverpool are the best club, and you're a massive Everton supporter, then you're clearly going to have an issue there. Yeah. Don't have that issue that night, that time. Yeah. I know that's a bit of a cop out, but actually, ultimately, if people want an argument, they will have an argument. And if they're drunk, it will be 10 times worse. So if you try and avoid the argument in the first place, it is simply avoid the situation where you can. If they are.
We've lost Alex again. That is the NHS internet. That sounds a lot like arguing on Twitter as well, doesn't it? Because, you know, if you look at it and they say something and you think, I need to respond to this and counter them, I quite like to often just step back and go, do I need to? Does it really matter? Is it that important that I do that? And it isn't, is it? It is quite often the best way is just to go, we'll just leave what they've put there. Everyone can see it. They can disagree in their own minds. We don't need an argument. No one needs a Twitter argument. I once got into a Twitter argument about football with a journalist for no reason, absolutely no reason. He was, I support Scunthorpe United, and one season we were doing quite well. Seems a long time ago now. But every week there'd be people tweeting, "Oh, you know, if you were to watch this and you didn't know, you'd think that we were the team that were doing better and they were the team at the bottom of the league." And that happened every week. And this journalist tweeted that about a game at Peterborough, and I just went, "Oh, we hear this every week. It can't always be the case, can it? Maybe it's just that we are better and you're just looking at the wrong things or something." And then he really got going at me and we started going backwards and forwards. And halfway through, I was like, I don't even really care that much about this argument. What am I doing? But I continued with it anyway. I think we've got Alex back. We can bring him back on. Oh, from a different angle.
Yeah,
now.
from a different angle, because I've just flipped and I'm now running on a 4G signal rather than the NHS Wi-Fi. So apologies, very confusing, because you, Jim, are over there
The camera's over here, so I'm going to
Okay.
look at my camera rather than look at you. But that is looking at you as far as you're concerned.
I could do signs, you wouldn't know.
just to sort of wrap up with drunks, I used to frequently placate them as much as I could within reason. Swallow a bit of pride, don't disagree with them. If they get to the point of arms round you, you're a good bloke, you're a great bloke, and I had God knows how much of that in my time, I just go, yep, thanks, that's great, and I just move it on. Yeah, and that's the other trick, is that drunks tend to have a relatively short-term memory. So therefore, if you can move them onto something else, particularly if you know them, in the case of this brother-in-law, you do know them, move the topic onto something they like, they enjoy, and they will move on to that naturally and forget what they have been saying. You hope.
Well, fingers crossed. Yeah. Oh, that's great, Alex. Thank you. As always, a mine of amazing information, and we'd love you to come back next month if that's all right.
Yep, that's absolutely fine. One evening I might actually not be at work. So yes. So apologies, I'm a little jaded, but it's a 16-hour day today.
We've just added to that, and can only
That's fine. This is a nice interlude. So thank you.
Oh, thanks, Alex. Absolutely brilliant as always, Alex. Again, our conflict management expert. So it's now time to chat. He's been waiting so patiently. I can see the sort of behind the scenes thing here, and I have to say thank you very much, Jack Woodhams. How you doing? You all right?
I'm good. Yeah, nice to be here. Thank you very much.
From Menfulness, yeah. Oh, and branded as well. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. I don't get to wear them often, so I thought, well, let's whip on this shirt.
Thanks for joining us. Do you want to just explain a little bit about what it is that Menfulness does?
Yeah, no problem. So Menfulness, I suppose, organically happened through a group that we set up 8 years ago called Yorkie Dads, which is still going hand in hand with Menfulness. So a lot of the things that you do, so the Lego groups, we have breakfast clubs. We also had a world famous hair school that went on BBC News, which was all very exciting. And essentially it's exactly what you guys are doing, getting guys together to vent, let off steam, and just be dads. With their kids. It was great. It was an organisation that's still running alongside Menfulness. But we had a lot of blokes want to join some of our football games, some of our walking talks that we had going on who weren't dads. And we were like, well, yeah, that's not really a problem. Certainly if it was activities just for dads without the kids, we were just like, well, yeah, that's no issue at all. Come along to football. Come along to a walk and talk, that type of thing. And we felt also lots of stuff was happening online with guys were opening up about their mental health, which was really good because it was a safe space, a safe environment. They felt comfortable enough to do it on our closed Facebook group. We felt we needed something for all blokes, not just dads. And Menfulness was kind of born, working alongside Yorkie Dads. So a lot of our activities could kind of go hand in hand, really, but it just meant that there was a place for all blokes to come across, not in a supportive environment. Our slogans: don't man up, speak up. Yeah, I don't want to heavily talk about it, but suicide rates are quite big in York, and we've lost a couple of people that we know, and we just felt we really needed to do something, and we really needed to get guys to talk and open up in creative and fun and supportive ways, which is a lot of the stuff that we do, that we have going on at the moment. So that's a quick whistle-stop tour.
So have you found, from people coming to your events, the things that you do, have you found people surprising themselves by how much they have opened up?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a myth that blokes don't talk. I think create the right environment and a place where they feel supported and don't feel judged and feel comfortable to do it, then they do, and that's what we do. We have it in such amazing ways, and a lot of these projects that I'll talk to you about, I'm just one of the spokesmen, and the ideas that come from the group themselves and go, this is something I think would work. Can we try this? So we've got a talk group, so we work really closely with York City Knights over at the stadium there. We have a talk group, and we've got an ambassador there, a couple of players from the Knights team. And that's really great to get guys to know that everybody can struggle with mental health. Also got launched at the Crooked Tap, a retro gaming night. So for some reason, it just exploded the second Thursday of every month. There's guys going down there, talking, opening up and playing N64s, GoldenEye, it's got to be. And then I walk and talk as well. I think this, even for me, who's kind of like one of the leaders of Menfulness, I still struggle with this kind of like just sitting in front of someone and talking and chat and saying, do you want to come for a coffee? And for me, who's, I suppose, the guy who's organising it or part of it, I find it more comfortable to kind of go, okay, let's go on a walk and talk and have a chat whilst having a coffee. Or let's go and do stuff like our Lego groups and our hair school as well. They were creating these environments where guys were doing stuff, but felt comfortable and relaxed enough to talk and open up. And you kind of find this kind of domino effect with guys talking. You're often thinking you're alone. It's just me that's struggling with this, struggling with my mental health. I'm a bit depressed and a bit low. I don't know the reason why. And then what you see is these light bulb moments at these events where they finally let it out. And then it's just like, I'm so glad that you said that. I feel exactly the same, but I haven't felt comfortable enough to do it because I also feel, I suppose it's a bit of an imposter syndrome. I'm not a mental health specialist, but it's all by lived experience. It's all by working with other guys and seeing what works, and by building friendships. And I've some really close friends for like over 40 years that I've known, and I haven't talked to them about mental health. And then suddenly I'm talking to these guys that I've only just met, and I feel real instant connection, because you're getting straight to the soul, you're getting straight to the heart of the person, and suddenly before you know it, you're letting people know, your innermost worries that you don't even talk to your wife about, or even talk to the doctor about, but you're talking to a stranger that you've only just met, and it's remarkable. And what we're finding though is 9 times out of 10, this is enough. Chewing the fat, letting out, and we're telling guys, you really got to open up and talk. It's so important. Do that, and then when they're doing it, 9 times out of 10, as I said, it was enough. But there was that 1 in 10. We were really worried about them, and we felt we had a responsibility to support them because we told them to open up. And what we'll do, we'll say, well, go back to your GP. I really feel you need some professional support, talking about suicidal tendencies. And they said, well, the GP referred me across to you. And then we're kind of like, oh. So at that point, we really had to get our heads together. And we did. And we came up with something that really helped us and safeguarded everybody, not just ourselves as organisers and leaders, but we managed to get a partnership with a private counselling service, Serendipity, who and that's where all our fundraising goes for the counselling for these guys. So we've now had over 100 guys access our counselling, and I think those are the 100 guys that really needed it the most within York, and the difference that it's made to them is just it's incredible. I mean, we're really, really proud of that, because we had to fight something or against something, that a system that will trying to go through the right channels and going to, there's Samaritans, there's the statutory organisations, there's Mind, but none of them they really needed support and counselling, and we reduced, there's no waiting list. reduces stigma, because there's 100 guys who have access. There's always somebody there who's accessed our counselling, and they've been able to listen to, and that's really kind of helped us. It's something that a model that we believe that can go across the UK, and not there's no threshold of support. If you're a bloke in York and you feel like you need support, then we'll do our utmost to do it, and we don't need to know the ins and outs. That's not for me. I'm not a professional, but the counsellors are, and it really makes a difference.
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it, that it's that snowball effect that once you have some people who go through it and then can almost report back and recommend it, it makes it seem okay. And I know a lot of what you do is about breaking stigma, isn't it? And that's one of those things. And I guess if people are meeting up and they see 100 other guys who've all been to this counselling, then I guess, that makes it go, oh, actually, this is for the likes of me, because that's people have that, don't they? They go, well, that's something I see on like an American TV show, but it's not for me in York or in Worthing or wherever. Yeah. So
I think. I think counselling. I think it should be for everyone. I think it should be a universal offering for everyone. I think the difference that it's certainly made to me in my kind of mental health journey. I think you don't need to be at crisis point to get it, and I would always recommend just to, if you can, access some kind of therapy, talking therapy with somebody that's impartial, to give you that time and that space to really kind of understand what you're going through, but also put it into context and support you. I'll just recommend it to anybody if you've got the opportunity to don't wait until you get to kind of that crisis point. Talking's good, but yeah, if you can get professional help in some way, then do that. Self-help is remarkable.
It's a lot of it is hearing yourself say the words out loud, I think, isn't it? It's a lot of it when stuff's going around your head, it's very difficult to contextualize it, and there's just so much going on. But I think that's what we've kind of found with dads just talking to each other, and just meeting up and having, that kind of the beer at one of our meetups. It's when people actually start to say things out loud, then you start to kind of get a better impression of what you need to do. And I guess the counselling is that supercharged, really. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it makes it real when you say it out loud. And I think the counselling is just an offering that we're very organic. We kind of adapting to need all the time, and ideas and projects. We don't like to say no to anybody if they feel that it's going to support guys and make a difference, and their partner within York that can do it. Then we generally go, okay, let's give it a go. So we've got a Cloudgate Coffee who are now brewing coffee for us, which is amazing, and selling it and giving us some of that. And these are all people that have accessed our support and our services and are kind of wanting to give back, because at that time of need, they really needed the help. And we listened. We're the first people to kind of go, okay, yeah, we get it. You can access support, but just our day-to-day, our 90% of the stuff that we're doing is just guys getting together and supporting each other and feeling that you're not alone. But in that moment, certainly our Yorkie Dads Facebook group, you're getting new dads who I just remember but for them it's massive. They're like, my son, just last week, my son, he hasn't stopped shitting. It's just like, how can he poo so much? And I was joking about it a day ago, but now I'm really worried. And then we said, look, if you're really worried, do go speak to your GP. But it happened to me. I get it. Don't worry, you're not alone. Don't worry too much, and just giving him support and kindness and guidance, and saying that, but in that moment as a new parent, it's just you, to be able to kind of vent, or my wife, it was a very traumatic childbirth, but it was a little bit more painful for her than it was for me. But for me, it was immensely stressful. But I didn't want to say that to Rose. I didn't want to say that. But having a safe space where you can kind of go, just seeing your wife, seeing your partner struggle in so much pain and for hours on end, and trying to stay cool and trying to look like you're not scared, and just the support and kindness that you get from other guys, and realize, I don't feel the same. There's always somebody within our groups, and now across Yorkie Dads and Menfulness, there's over 2,500 guys on our socials, on all our different groups. So there's always someone within the city, and there's who's able to support or meet up and kind of go, yeah, I know exactly what you're going through.
What are the kind of common themes that you find from your dads, or your men, in fact?
Yeah, I think there's more recently. I think as blokes, certainly myself, and my struggles are very similar to a lot of the dads that I speak to, being, I suppose, the provider of the family and the stress, and being that kind of the pyramid, that top, and not wanting to show your stresses and your worries and your concerns, just like what everybody else is struggling with at the moment, which is the cost of living, the future, the uncertainty. I think is what everybody kind of sees on the news. That's certainly when we're going out, and having, obviously, coming through COVID, not having that person to kind of talk to in person, and actually say, oh my God, what is going on with the world? And what we've been able to do and seize on is during lockdown, in kind of really breaking down some barriers and getting projects together with guys. So over lockdown, it was we did a couple of projects. And as I said about the hair school, we like to break down barriers, and the counselling. This is kind of, we like to kind of say, no, let's try different stuff. So we did a manual which went. It was so I was reading my wife's magazine about top tips to reduce stress for women. I was like, a lot of these tips are things that I could do with. You know what? I want to go for a bath. I want to get a pedicure. And really giving your own time and space. And we got this amazing WhatsApp group, over 200 guys in there. And lockdown, that was huge. And I said, can you tell me like ways of reducing stress? And then it was just bombarded with, I do this, and I know it's lockdown, but I still go for a bath, have a shower before I'm working from home, and make sure you give yourself time and plan, actually put it in your diary, and all these top tips. And we wrote top 20 tips. They're called manual of ways of reducing stress, and that's gone to all the GP surgeries. It's gone up to all social workers, and it was funded by a guy who said, I want to be able to pay for this. I want to have access to counselling. Can I do that? A big shout out to Simon, and it was wonderful, really, that he wanted to do that. And then also working alongside that, I wrote a poem called "The Men Talking Revolution," which was kind of partly based, a lot based on me, that the guys with the biggest globe putting on a show. Just because you come across, there's lots going on, and it's just about telling your boys that it's okay to cry, and showing them and being in that moment. And it went huge. It went massive. I was so proud of it, and it kind of started this thing. My friend Matt Kelly, who wrote poetry, and he did the NHS poem which went huge, and then he was part of our group, and we said, why don't we write a poem? Because my friend Matt was always like annoyed. He was so annoyed with how guys represented it online. So like this bumbling idiot, or the Homer Simpson characters, or there was a YouTube video just went viral, this dad gagging while he was changing a nappy, and it was just like, it's not like that. It's we can be inept, but so can mums. We're just struggling, but it's actually really good fun. So we wrote a poem called Dads, and it was featured on Lad Bible. But it was a great project for us to all get together, and we all filmed it. We all had different segments that we did, and just trying to kind of break down these barriers. But everybody wanted to be involved with a cool and exciting project like that. So that's what we're constantly doing stuff that's fun and exciting and just different as well. Trying to be, but then also our core foundations. It's about, don't man up, speak up, and getting guys together in any way, in any capacity, just going for a coffee, going for a drink, playing a bit of snooker, whatever it is. And there's lots of offshoots at the moment, and finding like best mates who have formed, and like, oh yeah, we're best mates from Yorkie Dads of Menfulness, which is, we met at a breakfast club, or we met at the hair school, and now our kids have grown up, and it's just remarkable. It's wonderful that you're forming this. And what's really important about it, not that we put pressure on each other too, but I try and stay away from any, our USP is about kindness, support, and it doesn't matter which political party you support. It doesn't matter if you voted Brexit or didn't, but these are contentious issues, and so we try and just stay away from them. We say, ours is about more in common. What we've got in common doesn't matter, but if it's we want to be building up and supporting each other, and everybody's kind of brought into that, and it's been great. And nobody really talks about the jobs, because I think that's another thing that, some guys aren't working. It doesn't matter if you're a dad and you're struggling, or if you're dad and you've got it sorted, but you're a dad and you want some friendship. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter about what job, what social class. It's just, and that's a great thing about our breakfast clubs, where people are all different people referred by adult social care, and there's people that are senior managements, but they're friends, and it doesn't matter. They're friends. Like your video showed, was like, yeah, we've all got that same tired look, and that was it. That we're all dads that are struggling, and we need a bit of support, and creating those environments and those and places where you can just be, or just let the kids run round and just be completely quiet and just drinking endless amounts of filter coffee, which I did most weeks.
Is there a way that you manage to foster that kind of positivity? Is there a kind of no Brexit chat here sign on the door, or is it just something that's happened naturally?
Yeah, I suppose it's happened naturally. We're at the moment we're looking at charity status and stuff, so we have to kind of look at our kind of aims or objectives, and not rules, but when we never have to keep telling people what the rules are, because they can see it. They can see that, wow, there's guys writing songs about it, like the positivity and support that they got, certainly in the WhatsApp group, so people can see how it works. And I think only 2 or 3 times I've said, look, we're just not gonna, if that's okay. It's not what we're about. We're about building each other up. It's about kindness, it's about love, it's about support, and anything that can be contentious, which the world's already a divided place, and we kind of know what those issues are, and really I don't really care enough about them, because you just keep talking about them and it doesn't solve anything, but when people can see, not just physically and visually, that about what we're about, people buy into it. And I've had to maybe have a couple of conversations with people and just said, look, it's totally get where you're coming from, totally get your political point, but you can join other groups to vent that, but that's not what we're about. And yeah, most people buy into it because they're there because they want it and they kind of need that support.
I think I don't want to talk in cliches particularly because I think both of our groups are trying to get away from that particularly, but there is a lot of the traditional meeting places for men are usually lead to sort of combative sort of conversation. So a lot of it is like a lot of people will sort of revert to, especially with old friends, like piss taking a lot and like football rivalry and a lot of that kind of is sort of a lot of it is tied up, I think, obviously with drinking and kind of pub culture is sort of that kind of like, don't want to use the word banter, but I can't think of another word, so I'm gonna have to say banter. So it's interesting, isn't it? Because to get the real conversations, you need the opposite. You need the support, and I guess is that in my mind, I think the only time I would say I would arrange to meet up with another bloke would be maybe to go to the pub. I probably wouldn't go, do you want to go for a coffee sometime? I probably wouldn't go, do you want to pop round for a cake or whatever? So maybe, do you think that is it? When we organize these events, we organize these fixed events to bring people in, to give them that situation that isn't the combative situation, that is that supportive and friendly situation. That's kind of important. I mean, that's just a theory that I've thought of right now, but I don't know how true it is. Have you found that?
I mean, I've always not really thought about, obviously you think about it, but Menfulness has been formed by me and four of my best mates. Yorkie Dad started a long time ago, and then we got other guys on board that had the same kind of vision, all have lived experience with mental health and supporting each other. But I say best mates certainly through Menfulness now. And so a lot of the ideas just come from us and we go, well, do you think this would work? And generally, if it works for us, for our different experiences, then we think then it would support blokes. I mean, I've got 5 brothers. Played rugby all my life. So that kind of, I suppose, macho toxic masculinity kind of culture, it's kind of what I've been brought up with. And it wasn't until maybe about 5 years ago I stopped drinking. So a lot of my saying, do you want to go to the pub? There's only so many non-alcoholic drinks that you can have. So it's a bit different. But I think it's really helped with Menfulness because of that experience of kind of going, no, I actually, we need to, if we can, I totally get what the pub's about, but we don't want to get too much into kind of like drinking culture, but it's escapism, isn't it? And it's a fleeting escapism, which, inevitably sometimes, or in my case, did make things worse trying to escape. So I needed to kind of look at other ways of being creative to kind of support guys to talk and open up, but getting away from the AA type things where you're all around in a room and you kind of all got issues. So like it's kind of saying that you're talking, it means that you've got issues. No, talking's just good, healthy, and a natural thing. But we're even some of our talk groups, we're trying to make it a bit more comfortable. So it's run over at York nights once a month. Just meet around a table, bit of coffee at 7 p.m. And that's, I suppose, our most kind of intense talk kind of therapy, and that's hosted by a professional who helps and supports us all. And there's often lots of stuff that comes from that. And also I had to manage my own kind of mental health and kind of say, I can't go to it every time, because sometimes you've got to be in a strong place to be able to support other guys who are bearing their souls. And you've got to remember that. But we try and make that as more comfortable as possible. It's over at York Knights Rugby Club. But people are buying into it and kind of seeing what we're doing. So Waitrose are donating food for it. And now Nando's, because they're in the same complex, said, we love what you're doing. We've got a community budget. Can we feed you guys? And that just kind of breaks it down a bit. And just, you know, through food, or if it's through Lego, through play, it just makes it more, no, this is a bit different. These are building friendships and guys, and we're talking. But I only look at it from my point of view. I'd rather go and meet someone for Nando's than go and meet someone for coffee. Or, you know, I'd rather go to a pub, certainly now that I don't drink, where they're doing retro gaming and playing N64 and giving out free pizza. Well, of course. So a lot of the things are like, how are you doing all of this? Like us 5 guys. They said, well, we're not doing it all. We're getting volunteers on board, key people. So a friend of ours, Rich, he just said, I was at the gym the other day and I was talking to my mate, and he was just doing the treadmill, and he said, you're paying like 40 quid a month just to use a treadmill. He said, yeah, but I don't want to do all those free weights and stuff because it's full of droid heads. And it was like, I'm not a droid head, I'm doing it. But creativity came from that. He said, so he came up with a project called Safe Space, and now 3 gyms within York have all created this safe space where it's just a place within the gym where you can talk, you can open up, you can ask questions about the free weights. You're allowed to be new, you're allowed to be shy. And a lot of those gyms are doing talks for us and presentations and getting people across. And it's just kind of snowballed. And because we're really, really not precious. So it's not about us. It's just, yeah, if it's a cool idea, if it's fun, but also supports blokes, then why not? And we've just been getting so much from it. But partnerships and friendships has helped and supported us because people bought into it, and really nicely, people are now doing lots of fundraisers for us to people to access the counselling and realising either if it's difference that it's made to them or a family member or guys that have sadly taken their own lives. And we're working really closely with a foundation called Charlie Lancaster Foundation, who are incredible, based in York, and they've supported us and raised a lot of money for us. And you know, we've known Charlie personally, and he was a real kind of pillar of the community. And he and on the face of it, he had everything. He had Lancaster and Sam's property development company. He was part of the round table, and he was going out and dishing out and fundraising for charities. And you know, sadly, he took his own life. So he was supporting other people, but he couldn't talk to other people. But he was a real kind of advocate for counselling, so we've worked really closely with the Charlie Lancaster Foundation at Christmas time. We had a Christmas tree recycling project over at Tesco's, and people came and recycled the trees and gave a donation to Charlie Lancaster Foundation. And so there's been amazing people, and you know, really unique, special people that we want on board, and we're very lucky to be able to do it together, and it makes it a lot more fun. So, and often we're on Jorvik Radio now, and every 2 weeks. So we've got our own show there where it's been Matty. Matty was on First Dates. He doesn't tell many people about it.
All right.
He tells everyone. But yeah, he's got his radio show that he does every 2 weeks, and he's just offering advice and support, and so it's just wonderful. People wanting to get in touch and kind of go, I want to help out. I want to be part of this. I see that you're making a difference, and how can I help? But we're all volunteers, so it's just sometimes we run out of capacity when we get messages through all the time, and balancing that is quite a difficult thing. Certainly, success builds success, doesn't it? And so when you're telling people that, we try and keep it on the down low about the free counselling. But when people are finding out about it and they really need it, then we have to be able to support. So balancing it is quite a tricky thing. It was a bit different when we were just organising a breakfast club, when we were just organising bacon. But now moved on to Menfulness, becoming a charity. It's a whole different thing, and we're doing well. But I can see we're going to have to really have a sit down and kind of be more strategic about it. And we've written an impact report and stuff, and done lots of things to kind of help our case. But yeah, we might need some extra support. We might be having to knock on the door of City of York Council soon.
Mm-hmm. And that's the future, is it, for Menfulness then? This charity status, and then trying to upscale in a way that is manageable, I guess.
Yeah. I think the success, as I say, is because it's been really fun, and a lot of the stuff that we haven't wanted. It's a lot more fun organising retro gaming night and coming and talking here, but actually applying for charity status in your own free time is quite a boring, horrible thing to do. But we've kind of got our heads together. But a big shout out to Sam, one of our committee members, kind of actually taking the bull by its horns and going, no, let's do this, and us supporting him to do that. But yeah, I think so. That'd be exciting. It'd be great to work for Menfulness, but at the moment, it's just my escapism. I've got my own battles. My daughter, Poppy, she has cerebral palsy and severe epilepsy, and it's a daily challenge, as you can imagine. So having Menfulness, I really kind of we set it up to support other people, but I need it more than ever now. And I think that really helps other people see that, okay, the guys that have set it up, the committee members, that they're also got their own struggles, just like they haven't got it together, and they need it. And what you find is the enablers. You're creating these people who have needed support before, and then after they gain support over the months and the years, then they become the leaders. And just like Darren, we had a small documentary for Darren. It was amazing because his story, he really struggled in the beginning, and messaging me. We were quite worried about his mental state, and he talks about this on the video, and then his kind of journey of Menfulness is just remarkable, to the point where he accessed counselling straight away. We have an allotment which is disgusting because we don't really dig much. We just go and sit and chat, which is wonderful. And he came to the allotment and chatted, and he came to our social circuits event and just came to our walk and talk, and then he was talking about I mentioned footy, but I'm not a particularly big footy fan. I said, loads of people getting in touch and saying, can you do some five-a-side? But I really can't be bothered, Darren, if I'm honest. And he said, I love my footy. And it's like, do you? Would you mind going and speaking to Roko? Because they're keen. So now Darren's running 3 football sessions a week, and he's taking his son across. And his life hasn't changed. He's still got the same stresses in the beginning, but he's now got a place where he feels comfortable and safe to open up and talk, and he's got a friendship group that understand what he's been through, and that's just what we're all about. We're about empowering guys and going, all right, yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. I think you'll be great at it. Give it a shot, and he really is, and being part of our fundraisers, and now he's supporting other people coming through, and he gets it because he's been there on the journey, and they're our greatest the greatest people, those kind of who are part of the bigger family of Menfulness, and kind of go, yeah, I know how to support you. And said, but he's a proper Yorkshire fella. Oh, he's so York. He said, oh, Jack, I didn't think I'll be able to talk, and you couldn't shut me up now. It's so crazy. And he's not a flamboyant kind of like in your face bloke like me who's talking, oh, it's got to be good. You got to talk. You got to open up. He's on bread and butter stuff. He's a man from York, a man of the people. And his journey's been remarkable, and we're super proud of him. So proud.
Oh, brilliant. Jack, it's great. Thank you so much for telling us all about that. Is there anything else you want to let people know about Menfulness at all?
No. It's been great. There's so much stuff. Even if you just Google us on Menfulness, so you'll see most of our stuff there, and have a look and see what it's all about. We've got a Spotify playlist now, so that's from a guy who was really struggling. He said, "Oh, music really helps me," and now he's created a WhatsApp, a Menfulness Spotify WhatsApp thing. So go and have a look at all our music and guide. That's been another project that we did. But you can find most of the stuff. I think it's on biglink.2. Do you want me to copy and paste that? Can I copy and paste that?
Yeah.
If I private chat, and then maybe you can.
I could stick it up on the screen. Yeah, do that.
Yeah. And that goes to our Instagram, it goes to our Spotify, goes to our LinkedIn, goes to our website. I suppose, as I said, like we're becoming charity status, but if there's anybody out there that could support us, kind of like, I suppose, financially or advice of kind of like growth, we're all ears. We'd like to hear from you if you're a company that wants to, corporate kind of sponsorship, anything like that, which we're starting to do now, and then let us know, because we know the difference that it has made, and especially those over 100 guys accessing counselling. I've got to give a shout out to Serendipity, because if it wasn't for them, that counselling service, and what's amazing about them, they use students from York St John and Teesside University in their third year, so it means that they can offer it at an affordable rate to us, which is £25 a session, which means that there's a lot more guys that we can help when we're raising money, and that's I suppose a model that we're looking at replicating across the UK. I really think it works, and we're able to get some amazing counsellors who are on placement, who can support those guys and access it when they need it.
That's brilliant. That's really good. What an amazing idea. And I'm so glad that's working out for you. So, Jack Woodhams, thank you very much from Menfulness. There's the little link down there. I've put it on the screen. Like like Philip Schofield in the broom cupboard about 1988 or whatever it was. He used to do that, where he had to press all the buttons himself. There you go. But thank you very much, Jack. Really appreciate it. And
my pleasure.
Good luck in the future. Cheers,
Jim. Cheers, man. Bye.
We will be back with another Dadless Soul Sessions next month. We're going to be here the fourth, the last Thursday of the month. We've got a special guest who's not quite confirmed, is 90% of the way, but it's going to be a really interesting chat. Have a look at our social media for more information on that. You'll find out everything you need. It's at Dadless Soul, basically, wherever you go, and join our private Facebook group as well. If you are a dad, you just need to answer a couple of questions. But thank you very much, and